So before we bought the van, it was 2020. The year was 2020.
Wasn't really ever like a real question about if we're doing this. It was more like, when are we doing this? How do we start? And then something really interesting about our Ram ProMaster is it actually doesn't have a park. Hey, I'm Blake.
And I'm Tabby, and we've been living in our Ram ProMaster for a year and a half now. Come check it out.
So this is our awesome kitchen. We have our black sink faucet here that has 2 settings, which we really love for getting all the crud off of our dishes. With our water, we have those 2 settings, but we also have a 33-gallon water tank that lasts us about 2, maybe 3 weeks, depending on how heavy we use water and how much we boil noodles. We absolutely love cooking in our kitchen, so we do use it fairly often. It's not that we go out to eat very often at all. We're normally cooking in here unless we're friends or, you know, celebrating Valentine's Day. And then also right underneath our sink, we thought it was important to have all of our towels, our trash bags, our trash cans. We actually have a huge trash can and recycling bin. We keep our cooking oil down here, as well as, you know, just some nice products to clean up with. 2-burner stove and oven, which we absolutely love. We can cook all sorts of things, cinnamon rolls, pizzas, whatever we want, but we also cook a lot on the stove top. Just noodles, breakfast. I make coffee almost every day with my mocha pot. Absolutely love it, highly recommend. We have a really nice backsplash. We really thought this went well with our color scheme, but also it's super simple, so if we ever wanted to renew it, update it, change it, it's just a sticker, so we can actually just rip it out. There's plywood behind here, and it just made it super simple rather than going with a traditional backsplash. Up here we actually keep all of our food, so we have snacks in here as well as right here with those RV latches, keeping everything nice and secure. Butcher block needs a lot of TLC, so if you do end up going with that, just make sure you're sealing, conditioning it as much as possible. Right here is where we keep all of our silverware. So we have a lot of stuff in here between measuring cups and knives, forks, avocado holders. Our junk drawer, which just has a lot of goodies in it, and then kind of our big utilities like vacuum and stuff is in the bottom one. We really love our decor. You can see our vase and our shelf that is really clean right now. Normally it has a bunch of junk on it, but we got it from Urban Outfitters, and it just really works well. It stays super stable during driving. Lastly, when we're cooking on our wonderful 2-top propane burner, we love having all of our spices right here just ready to grab. I love throwing lots of stuff into my food, so just having it right here is really ideal. We're originally from Charleston, South Carolina. That's our home base. That's where a lot of our friends, our families from South Carolina.
We didn't purchase our van until January of 2021, so it was like 7-8 months of just like non-stop watching YouTube, like you said. And finally we were like, we have to do this. Like, let's pull the trigger, purchase our van, and we drove to Ohio to buy our van. We took a we flew to Ohio.
We bought a one-way ticket.
On a one-way ticket. Bought our ProMaster and drove it back down like the next day, and then we started our build.
Yeah, it was our first little adventure in the van. So here we have kind of our separation space. This is my workspace. When we want to just get apart a little bit, we can just pull our curtain right here, have some separation. I can work in privacy, Tabby can sleep in the mornings, vice versa. We have our complete mirror right here, which is just super nice because, you know, you always want to get a complete view of your outfit. This is the best way to go about it. But what's really cool about this spot is kind of our magic area, we'll call it, because we just are able to fit so many things. We have our laundry, our paddleboard, our broom, our one wheel, a soccer ball. It's crazy how many things we've actually been able to fit behind here. Tennis shoes, so on and so on. So we like to just jam as much stuff as we possibly can behind our driver's seat, which works out pretty well. Now, up above in our little overhang here, we actually keep a lot of our window shades. We actually put all of our sheets and bedding up here as well. And then any down below, well, starting right here, actually, we have our diesel heater control unit, and that just runs all the way down to our diesel heater, which is actually right here. While we're down here, actually, we also have our shoe step up. So you'll see a lot of our tennis shoes are stored right here. One other thing that we did, we had a little exposed metal right here. We put a ton of magnetic hooks up here just for quick grab things like our keys, our headphones, hats, anything we just want to throw up really quick. And then something really interesting about our Ram ProMaster Eco Diesel is it actually doesn't have a park. So if you look at the Prindle here, we have reverse, neutral, drive, and then we can actually do manual, but there's no park. So when we want to park, we have to pull the e-brake to make sure we don't roll away.
So before we bought the van, it was 2020. The year was 2020. And we were missing out on a lot of travel plans that we had made. And we were just talking about like how awesome it would be if we were able to kind of live freely and do things on our own terms. And we really started diving into it during like quarantine and everything. And we actually found like schoolie life, like all the buses and everything. And we thought how cool that was. And then we were kind of into that idea, and then we were like, no, like let's downgrade it so we're able to like park in like parking lots and be stealthy and all of that. And so that kind of gave us the idea of doing the van.
I think from there we just started jumping into van life videos, and it wasn't really ever like a real question about if we're doing this. It was more like,
when are we doing it?
When are we doing this? How do we start?
You know, exactly.
Let's get a game plan together. So
yeah,
everything kind of just fell into place.
Yeah, and so we started looking into that around like March 2020. We didn't purchase our van until January of 2021. So it was like 7-8 months of just like nonstop watching YouTube, like you said. And finally we were like, we have to do this. Like, let's pull the trigger, purchase our van, and we drove to Ohio to buy our van. We took we flew to Ohio.
We bought a one-way ticket.
On a one-way ticket, bought our ProMaster, and drove it back down like the next day. And then we started our build.
Yeah, it was our first little adventure in the van.
Finishing off the front section, we have our lovely wide counter space right here. We ultimately decided not to put our stove or anything over here, so we did have all this counter space because it comes in handy. Then we have our very, very large fridge with a nice size freezer. That was kind of a deal breaker for me. I really wanted to have a lot of fridge and freezer space. And that kind of completes the kitchen. Oh, actually we have like our little fruit hanging bag, and then we do store some extra snacks up here. And then touching on our upper cabinets, we do have our rattan cane webbing that I really like. And then coming down, we've kind of got like our bathroom, I guess you could say. So we have our toilet down here, our Nature's Head composting toilet, as well as our pee funnel. That comes in a lot of handy. I do recommend if you live in a van, you have a pee funnel. And then we have our toiletry drawer right here, which if you open up, looks like this. There's a lot of products and a lot of things in here. Me and Blake split it, but there's kind of dominated by some of my belongings. But yeah, so we get ready here in the morning, and then we have our mirror here that we can you know, do our skincare or whatever. So with our countertops, we didn't choose to seal it with like the polyurethane. We really just oil and condition it with like the Howard's oil and conditioner that I kind of slack on, which is why you can see that there might be like some markings. I don't know if I would necessarily go with a butcher block again in the future, but aesthetically it does look nice. Over here we have some of our light switches that are on dimmers. We can do just the front two or the back two. We also have a normal outlet, and we also have Simply Safe over here, which is our home security system. We do set that to away whenever we leave for the day, and then we get alerted on our phone. We have a glass break sensor, so if any of our windows break, we would get an alert, and we also have a motion sensor, so if anybody was to be in here, we would get alerted. And we also have a freeze break or a freeze sensor in our water bench, so if our pipes get too cold, we would be alerted about that as well, and that's all with the Simply Safe. So I think if you can get through a van build with your partner, you really can.
Oh my gosh.
It's the test of times. So I think that was a little challenging, obviously, but Blake and I have been together for 8 years, so we can do anything together, I think.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's it. And it wasn't too hard actually moving into the van from our townhouse. We did have like a full house, like 2 stories, like guest rooms, all that kind of stuff, but we sold everything. I kind of had like a full-time job of like selling all our things on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, and we did manage to sell almost every single thing, and we basically just put all of that money towards our van build, so it really wasn't bad. And so then when we actually moved into the van, it was almost
exciting.
It was almost like better, like more amenities,
yeah.
because we were living in like an empty apartment for like,
we were sitting on the ground eating like ramen noodles.
We were, well, yeah, so we were just, it was actually really, really nice, and it wasn't too big or too bad of an adjustment living small.
I think the worst part was just we moved out at the end of our lease in August, so August in South Carolina is
hot.
Pretty much the hottest time you can
That
be
was probably
outdoors.
the biggest challenge, I guess, moving into here, was actually having no AC, but besides that, like, we got through it.
Yeah, I think it was 101 the first night in the van.
Yeah.
So that was great.
So this is our large bed. We have, it's actually a queen size bed. It's just slightly shorter, and we are able to sleep side to side this way, which is something that I think you can only really do in the Ram ProMasters, and we really liked that, so it gave us more space up at the front. We do typically convert this into our dinette, like couch mode, basically, every single day. I just decided to keep it like this for today because I thought it looked nice. I do like it in bed mode, but it really just opens up the space so much more having the bed in the couch mode. We also have 3 different light options. We have our overheads here. We have one in the kitchen for when we're cooking, and then we also have these warm lights here that we have on dimmers, which are super great for nighttime when you want to just take it easy on your eyes. We have our bunker window here that opens up as well, and we have a few pots and candles and such just for more decor back here. Underneath our bed, we have 3 different benches. We have our water bench is on this side here. We have our electric bench on this side, and then we have some like fun and games, like a little like a garage, I guess you could say, bench in the middle. And then we also can store our shoes and everything under in the middle section that you can walk on. We also have a max air fan up at the front that we turn on when we're cooking or when we want some like cool air. It's essentially like our air conditioning, and we just open up our bunker window to get a nice like cool cross breeze in here, so that's really, really nice. Back in the back, we also have this curtain here. We don't really use it too much. We actually use our window covers a lot more, which kind of insulate the van and also give us a lot of privacy, because at nighttime it's like a fishbowl in here. You don't want to have your lights on and no window covers up. So for privacy, we put these up, and they just roll up super nicely. So we love having these, definitely recommend. We also have our roof deck on top, which we added about a year after we moved into the van. We have a ladder, and we can get up there and just like enjoy the views, enjoy the sunset. We can also clean off our solar panels that way. And recently we did add our Starlink to the roof as well, so we have full satellite internet up there. We also have these 2 little bookshelves up in the corners here. We just use them with like scrap materials that we had, just to add like a little something in the back there. We also have our big slide out table that we really like to have. We store a lot of our like watering hoses, like our filters, like some extra sunscreen, shovels, just outdoorsy things in our table there. And we can also set up chairs if we want to like actually like have a meal there or something like that. As far as showering goes, we did not put a shower in our van, just because for me, I really wanted to optimize the space in here. We choose to use Planet Fitness memberships when we're in the States that really, really come in handy. We've never really had an issue with finding a shower or a Planet Fitness, or at least like a wellness center, like a YMCA. There's always options for showers, so for us, I didn't feel the need to put a fixed shower in our van. However, we do have an outdoor shower option as well, which I don't think we've ever used, but it's good to have just in case we're really desperate. We also have our closets up in these overhead cabinets. Blake has these 2 here, and I actually have 3, which is very generous of him. Up here, we have enough space to store tons of clothes, probably too much, honestly, but we really don't have to worry about getting a storage unit or storing clothes elsewhere. We have enough room to store all of our clothes, which is really, really nice. We have the gas struts that keep them open, and the RV latches that keep them securely shut, and that's our van.
Next plans. finishing our national parks trip.
Yeah. I think finishing our national parks trip is probably next once we leave Baja, but we also don't really have any plans to leave Baja because it's such easy living down here. We are posted up for free on a beach right now, which is, it's just amazing. So, but after we get back to the States, finish our national parks trip, maybe slowly make our way back to the East Coast. No real rush though. Maybe spend some time in Florida, but eventually I think it'd be really, really cool to either do another new project, like potentially another van build, maybe ship our van somewhere like to Europe or something. Like there's really no set plans, but I think we kind of just figure it out as we go. If you would like to follow us along on our tiny home adventures, you are welcome to follow us on Don't Quit Your Daydream. That's our Instagram, and we also do have a YouTube. We haven't really posted a ton. I post a lot of shorts on there, but it's also Don't Quit Your Daydream as well. But thank you so much, Tiny Home Tours, for touring our van today. We really appreciate it. It's our very first van tour, and yeah, we'll see you on the road.